welcome to episode 294 of the Craft House Magic podcast. My name's Ellie and I'm coming to you from Norwich in Norfolk in the UK, and today is the 11th of June. So welcome everybody. I hope you've all had a lovely crafty week or so since the last time I've spoken to you, and I'm here to share all the things that I've been making in the last couple of weeks. So today we've got a bit of knitting, a bit of crochet, a little bit of sewing, a bit of blast from the past. We've got some confessions. Which is, for those of you who don't know, it's for things that I've been purchasing, which I should not be purchasing really. Crafty related, of course. A question from the Ask Me Anything thread on the Ravelry group. Sometimes I get emails as well, so I've got a question for that. I've got a what's occurring section where I chat about meetups and pop-up shops and giveaways and things like that, and then I've got a little bit of information on my shop update before I go on to the little appearance from my son Jensen, who's got something crafty he's been playing with to show you. So let's get on with the good stuff, shall we? Knitting, I've got a finished object, and I've got to invite Barbara over to show you what I've got for a finished garment. So come on over, Barbara. So thank you very much, Barbara. So Barbara's my dressmaking mannequin, and she likes to show all the things that I've been making. If you haven't watched before. So this is my traveller shawl, and it's a pattern by Andrea Mowry, and it's supposed to be sort of a lightweight thing that you can sort of throw on when you're out and about travelling, and I just thought it'd be really nice to have this because I think quite a short sleeve sort of cardigan sort of thing would be quite handy, especially around the house, or to throw on when I'm sort of busy doing things so that I haven't got any sleeves in the way. I'm really pleased with how this has come out actually. So it's knitted in 2 lace weight yarns held double, 1 merino, which is quite a non-fluffy yarn lace, and then a fluffy alpaca and silk fluffy yarn and held double. It just makes a nice effect. So I have made some modifications as per usual. I didn't use the cast on they said in the pattern, mainly because I was out at a knit night when I was casting it on, and I just thought I'm just going to do my normal long tail cast on because it's nice and easy, and I really don't mind the way it looks with like a sort of line on the beginning. Because I'd done that, I wanted to do a similar sort of bind off around the neck and around the arms as well. I did try a sort of stretchy bind off, but I found that I just did it to a few stitches and it looked like it was a bit bulky on this yarn. I quite often do that sort of stretchy bind off. I found for this yarn it came out a bit bulky, so I've just literally done a standard bind off because I had plenty of stitches around the neck to make it long enough. So I thought that's going to be fine to be a more stable bind off around there, and around the arms it was quite loose around the arms, so that was absolutely fine. But if you find that this is sort of tight on you, you definitely want a stretchy bind off on there. I also had some advice off a few people saying that the neckband can sometimes come up a bit on the tight side with the amount of stitches that she picked up. I picked up loads more. What I did is that I picked up 4 stitches for every 5 rows, so every repeat there I picked up 4 stitches all the way around, where I got to the stage where I can't sort of around the neck, where I couldn't sort of measure that. I was picking up as many as I possibly could around the neck here, so that I had a bit of sort of extra stitches compared to what the pattern says. So I had sort of an excess of fabric to go around that neck, because your neck obviously takes up a bit more length than a normal sort of straight band as you would down here. But I did pick up the same amount of stitches on all the parts where I had the visible repeat of the 5 rows there. But I found that it came out just nice. It's blocked out really nicely at the front. I've got a nice flat edge on either side there, and I'm really pleased with how it's come out. I did the same for the sleeves actually. I did pick up 4 stitches for every 5 rows around the arms, so that I had more stitches than it said in the pattern, because I thought if I'm going to do that around the neck I probably should do the same thing on the arms as well. But I did obviously cast on the same amount of stitches for around the bottom as in pattern. So for the sleeve I picked up 108 stitches instead of 96 stated in the pattern, so I did a few more there. And instead of the 309 stitches stated in the pattern to pick up all the way around the neck on the third size, I picked up 447. So that's like 138 stitches more than the actual pattern states. So I did pick up a lot of stitches. I have got quite a tight tension though, so it was okay. So just beware that you're not picking up a ridiculous amount of stitches. If I'd have done any more, it might have looked a little bit like I'd done too many. Also, I've got quite a big neck, so if you've got a skinny neck, you might not have to pick up as many stitches as I did. But definitely pick up more than it says in the pattern, I think, because it makes it so that you've got a little bit more, it's not pulling up at the front, and it goes around your neck nicely as well. I also changed it quite a bit, haven't I? I've also done, I think I did 2 more repeats of the 10 row repeat on the length of the body, so it is a little bit longer, so it comes down my bum a little bit more, which is a little bit more comfy. And I think that's all I've done. I did knit the pockets, sew them on and then block it, which I probably should really have blocked it, then sewn them on and then blocked it again, but I couldn't be bothered. So I have just sewn them on, and I probably should have put a couple of pins just on the top of the pocket there. I forgot to do that for some reason, just to make it so that the pocket doesn't sort of sag as much, but as I wear it, that'll go down anyway. It really isn't much difference. So I've just blocked it in the Eucalan wool wash that I normally use, and stretched it out just a little bit, because obviously because you've got this pattern where you've got some pearls showing and some knits, that does ruche up a bit when you're knitting it, and it does look a little bit different before you've blocked it and after blocking. I took a little clip of me wearing it before I blocked it actually, so you can sort of see what it looks like on, and I'll pop that clip here. This is just a quick clip pre-blocking to show you what it looks like. It does sort of go to about there, but it is obviously a few inches sort of tighter than they recommend, but I just wanted it as a sort of throw over, something I wouldn't really do up. Well, it doesn't do up anyway, but that's what it looks pre-blocking. Be interesting to see what it's like once I've given it a little bit of a block. And this is what it looks like on me after blocking, so that looks a little bit nicer, I think. I will probably use the pockets to keep my hands warm, but I probably won't put anything in them because I think they'll sort of sag a bit. If I put my phone in, for instance, I think it's going to be a bit heavy. My phone is rather large, to be honest, though. But I will use that to pop my hands in to keep them nice and cosy. I think that'll be nice to put on top of a sort of vest top or a long sleeve t-shirt, depending on what the weather is. You can see that it comes right quite long onto my bum area there, so that is quite nice and long for me. I have done a size that is way smaller than it should have been. I think it should have been the 42-inch bust size that I did was size 2, or the 3rd size on the pattern, and I should be going for like a 48-inch bust really, but I tried one on when Hayley from Ducky Darlings had a pop-up shop at an afternoon tea that Shannon organised, and I tried this on and I thought actually this has got enough ease for me. It doesn't meet at the front, but there's no buttons on it anyway. I think I'd rather have the fit to be quite snug under the arms rather than having too much of a big sleeve and being really oversized. So this is the sort of fit that I enjoy. It makes me feel cozy, and I don't like things being too low under my arms, so there we go. That is my Traveller Shell by Andrea Mowry. I definitely recommend this. Some people have knitted it in a fingering weight yarn instead of the 2 lace weight held double. I think it comes out just as well. So I think when I first tried it on I was a bit worried that it wouldn't look right with certain things, but I think now that it's done in a nice bright colour and it's not too sort of baggy underneath the arms, I really like it. So there we go, last twirl with the outfit on. Ta-da! So I dyed up 4 50-gram skeins of the alpaca silk and merino lace, and I've got 35 grams left, so I only used 15 grams of that last skein, and I did do an extra 2 repeats on the body, and I've got 20 grams left of the merino lace, which is 1,200 meters per 100 grams, so I've got 20 grams of that left. So I had plenty of that left if I wanted to make any more modifications, so I've got a little bit left to do something else with. I'm not sure what I'll make with it yet, but fluff is also always useful for holding double with hats and things, so I'm sure I'll use it for something. So that is my first finished object. Well, I've only got one finished object. I have got a work in progress though, and I have been doing some work on my socks. So this is a pair of socks that I'm knitting out of some gorgeous self-striping yarn, and it's from the Yarn Badger from East Anglia Yarn Festival a couple of years ago. Well, it's not a couple of years ago because it's March, but last year, so it's only really last year, and the colourway is called Jazz Cafe, and I love this. This has just been pleasure knitting for me, absolute pleasure knitting, real fun to knit, because obviously you're getting a new colour quite often, and it's just really nice. What I am doing with this is I've knitted a cuff, and I'm going to knit the length that I want for the leg and the foot, and then I'm going to put the toe in, and I'll come in and do the heel afterwards using my afterthought heel technique. I say mine, but it's just a general afterthought technique, and I do have a video tutorial for that if you wanted to find it. I'll pop a link in the description bar down below. So I will do the second sock in the same method, knit up to the toe, knit the toe, and then cut in the afterthought heel afterwards, because I like how self-striping works when it has the same stitch count all the way down the foot. And if I do an afterthought heel, I can just pop my heel in where I want to afterwards once I've enjoyed knitting all the lovely stripes. So it's beautiful, this yarn. It doesn't look quite so nice in the cake, obviously, because you've got all those colours on top of each other, but look at that. Isn't it gorgeous? Absolutely love it. So that's my sock. It's great to do at knit nights and things because it's lovely and easy to knit, and I don't have to think about what I'm doing. I'm just chatting away and enjoying the colours. So I have a couple of garments that I want to cast on next. I have got some yarn that I have in mind. So this is a beautiful merino silk and yak mix DK weight yarn, which I fancy knitting the Avena jumper by Jennifer Steingass, and there is a lady who's knitted it, and her Ravelry handle is Prolific Knitter, and I've noticed her pictures on quite a lot of sort of designer pattern pages because she obviously does a lot of test knitting. She's got some beautiful styles and puts lovely colours together. So she'd used like a grey brown like this one, and put a black contrast for the sort of leaves, and then there's different shades of grey in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dye a black and then a sort of charcoal grey to do the sort of leafy sections on that beautiful jumper. It's a DK weight jumper, and I'm also going to steal her ideas as well on how she's done the neckline. She's done a black contrast neckband and cuff on the sleeve as well. She's done a shorter sleeve. I think I'm going to have to do the shorter sleeve because it just looks really lovely. I am going to do it a little bit longer in the body though, because I do like my jumpers a little bit longer, and I cannot wait to cast it on. So hopefully on the next video I will have done at least a little bit of that jumper. So that's the Avena jumper by Jennifer Steingass, and I'm totally shamelessly copying the Prolific Knitter for the colours that she's put together. I think she's done 3 on the top on the colourwork section though, so I'm going to do 2 instead. But it's pretty much, I'm basically copying her colour style because it's gorgeous. So I will be doing that. I'm also going to be casting on a t-shirt called the Geddy Tee by Tanis Lavelli, and I had my eye on this since it come out. It's come out relatively recently, and I've got one of my mini skein sets that I'm going to use. I think this one, which is the Mixtape Minis Volume 4, which I've just dyed a new batch for, so that I can have these nice bright colours for the shoulder section, and I'm going to do the main body of the top in a more not very bright colour. I'm not quite sure whether I'm going to do grey because I really like the one that Tanis has done on the pattern page. but I think I'll do another sort of not very bright colour with the contrast shoulders. So I think that'll look really nice. And a few of us on the Tuesday night knit group are going to be doing it as well, so that's going to be loads of fun, comparing everybody's versions of the same top. We're going to be starting that on the 6th of July. So if you fancy joining in as well, you're very welcome. We are going to start it on the 6th of July though, so get your yarn and your needles together for that project for the 6th of July. So the next section is crochet section. I have started another crochet project, although I have got my blanket to finish there and another blanket in the box down there. This is my Moonlit shawl by Sandra Paul. Isn't it lovely? I know it's not very big right now, but I'm loving it so far. So this is the fingering weight version of this pattern, and you do have the instructions to do the DK weight version as well, which will come out a similar size. I am following the chart from her pattern because I love a chart. I love a chart. I hate having to read loads of lines of words. So I'd much rather just look at the chart picture and then I can see straight away what to do. Love how this is coming out. This beautiful yarn is from Castleview Yarns and it's colour number 70. It must be one of her standard colourways, and I picked this up from another one from the East Anglia Yarn Festival last year, which I'm actually using. So I'm really pleased about that. I've got some little bulb pins marking my sort of repeats of the pattern on the bottom of the work because I just find it easier to mark each pattern repeat, especially for crochet. I think I'm a more experienced knitter than a crocheter, so I do like to mark my work. I've done quite a lot of crochet, but I'd still like to sort of mark each pattern repeat with crochet, whereas with knitting I like to sort of wing it. But it is coming out really nicely. I like the texture of the pattern, and this yarn looks really lovely. If you look close up, you can see little patches of sort of yellow and green in there as well, which I think is absolutely gorgeous. So that is on the hook. It's supposed to be one skein shawl, so that's really nice to be able to use a special skein for a special project. And I'm really looking forward to the scalloped edge and the edge of the shawl, so that's very exciting too. So that is my crochet. That is a 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon mix, 425 meters per 100 grams, so it's a standard merino sock base. The next thing I want to chat to you about is sewing. So last week I uploaded a tutorial video on how I made this. You can hear my makeup clunking around inside it. So it's that way round. So this is the bag that I made, and I did it on a video so you could make one as well. I've been seeing quite a lot of these sort of open flat bags. I wanted to make things a little bit simpler, so I've made it so that it's a sort of the most basic version of this bag that you could possibly make, to have it all lined as well though. So it goes like this, and you can see all my messy makeup in there, but it is handy to be able to spread my makeup out to see what I've got in there, because I've got lots of different sort of eyeshadows and things, so it's nice to be able to see what you've got. It does lie flat when it's on a surface, and it's a lovely way to use the fat quarter bundles I've been putting together from the Liberty ranges. I've put one of my faux leather tags on it as well, which I think gives it a nice little finish, and I love this fabric range. Unfortunately, it has sold out now, these fat quarter bundles for this set, but there will be a new range coming out for July on the 1st of July if you keep an eye out for those. You will be able to subscribe on the 1st of July for future bundles if you want to, or just purchase the 1 month at a time. But this one was so gorgeous, it flew out of the shop really quickly, especially when I did this video tutorial. So I'll pop a link to the video tutorial on how I did this in the description bar down below, or just look at my sort of recent history of videos and you'll be able to see it if you're watching them quite soon after I've uploaded it, of course. So I have done some kits on the website that you can actually purchase to make this bag. Like I said though, I have sold out of this fabric, but I have put a couple of different other prints on the website that you can purchase as well, which are some other sets of gorgeous Liberty fabrics, in a set where you get the wadding, the faux leather tags, the zip, the thread, lovely Orifil thread that I like using, and a ribbon as well to attach to the actual zip pull. So everything you need is sort of in there, apart from the standard sort of needles and sewing machine, etc. It is a pattern that you can sew by machine. You could possibly do it by hand, but I tried to do it in a way that you could do it quite quickly on a sewing machine. So the next section is Blast from the Past. I thought I'd do another sort of dressmaking one as well with what I've got on. This dress I've got a lot of. I must have at least 4 of these dresses, and I want to make some more. Very, very comfy, massive pockets. Let me stand up and show you. So this is the Zadie dress by Tilly and the Buttons. It's got princess seams down the front and huge pockets. It sort of cinches in under the bust, but then there's quite a lot of room in the waist really, because you've got quite a bit of gathering, and the skirt goes out at the bottom. This is just past my knee, and I just find it really comfy. I find that if it's a stretchy dress, it's nice to have it not too long, because it gets caught on things as you're sort of sitting down and that, so a nice sort of knee length dress is very handy. So these shorter sleeve version that I've done, there is a really short sleeve version in the pattern which comes to about here, but I made it so that I adapted the longer sleeve pattern to be sort of here, so I'm a bit more comfortable with the length of the sleeve. But I think the original pattern is a 3/4 length sleeve on this one, but I have got a couple of 3/4 length versions as well. I have used, this fabric is a sort of medium weight jersey for this particular version. I have got one that's a bit more of a stable, thicker knit fabric, and I think that is, it's sort of a little bit better because it holds its shape a little bit more. And I prefer the fact that I think some of these fabrics, if they haven't got like they're just printed on one side, I just prefer it if it's more of a dyed fabric rather than printed to sort of be a dress really. But I'm just being extra fussy. It still works with a t-shirt fabric, and obviously if you want to wear it in the summer, it's nice to have a nice lightweight t-shirt fabric or medium weight t-shirt fabric, and then have a thicker one for the winter with the longer sleeves. So I definitely recommend this one. Obviously I made some modifications to it. So I did, instead of a normal bust adjustment, what I did is that where you've got the panels here for the princess seams, I just made that larger and just made sure that the panel that fits into it at the front was longer to fit in that panel. So I just fiddled with it a little bit just to make it so that it accompanied my bust a little bit better, rather than having it so it's too tight across the bust. I know that jersey patterns are stretchy, but I think if I could just easily add a little bit of area to the bust shape, it wasn't too much bother just to add that little bit of extra so that it fits super well. And I've made 4 copies of it so far, so that's good. I got this fabric, I think, from somewhere like Fabrics Galore. I think Fabrics Galore and Gus Regani are my favourite sort of shops for go-to for jersey fabrics, because I know that they're always good quality. The trouble is with you, if you buy cheap jersey fabric, it doesn't really last very long, so I definitely recommend those 2 shops. So there we go, that is the Blast from the Past for this week. So we are now on to my confession section. I'm naughty. I have subscribed to Giddy Yarns for the whole year's yarn club, so that is expected, so that's come. I'm going to show that now, so if you don't want to see it, look away if you haven't got yours yet. I think it has been here a couple of weeks now, so you should have received yours, but just in case and you don't want to see it, look away now. I won't tell you about the colours, I will just show it, and then I'll carry on talking about the next bit when I've finished. So these are the Sweet Shop minis for June, and they are very pretty, never disappointing. I've got a full set now so far, up until well, I'm subscribed for the whole year, so I'm going to get the whole set. I haven't caked any of them up yet, but I am excited to. Actually, I haven't decided quite what pattern I'm going to do. I'm thinking maybe the Sweet Shop blanket, but Helen's already doing that, so I might do a different one. We shall see, but it's definitely going to be a blanket, I think, so I can put all the colours together. So that is my first purchase. I have also made a purchase of labels. So if you have seen her before, she's the Specky Seamstress, and she does these really cute labels for your sort of knitwear and sewing garment. I've also bought some bias binding, which has got in this really cute print. So she's famous for these really cute print bias bindings. And I thought, what better than having the crocheted granny square binding and some really cute binding with some strawberries on. So I've got one each of those, and there is, I think, I don't know if there's about 3 meters on each one. I can't remember, but I thought that would be nice to put around on the neckline on some woven garments and just make it finished on the inside really nicely. Not just standard bias binding, but fancy bias binding. So I've got those, and I also saw that she did some labels. Now I do sell some labels in my shop, but they're not quite as fancy as these ones. This one is my favourite, cute as a button. They come in little packs of like 6. There's some scissors, there's some Please Look After Me labels, and some little dinosaurs. I thought the dinosaurs would be good for things I make for Jensen, and then made to measure, some different shape ones there. So there's quite a lot of different prints that you can get, but I think the cute as a button is my favourite at the moment. But I'll try those out and show you them as I'm using them as well. But they look really nice quality, and I'll certainly be buying some more, I think. Not that I need any more, but you know. You have to treat yourself. Plus, if they're small things, they fit in the craft room. You can see how my stash is overflowing a bit here. This is my personal stash underneath the units here, and I've got a couple of boxes of yarns that have sort of been used, and there's little bits left over up in the unit over there. So it's not too bad. I just need to use some more of this up, I think. And this is my shop stock, so it's not just stash. I'm not that guilty. Right, so I'm on to the Ask Me Anything question. So somebody asked me a few weeks ago, and I completely forgot to answer this question on the last video podcast. I'm sorry, but here it is. They were asking me about how I prevent moths getting into my yarn. Now, I have quite a lot of little sachets of lavender around my room, and I also have a big box of stash of lavender as well. So lavender is supposed to keep the moths away, although I wouldn't 100% trust it just on its own. I do make sure that I never leave the window open when I'm not in the room, so if anything comes through that window, if I see it, I'll be catching it straight away and getting it out the window. And I do have the blinds that are quite a thin material, so I can put them over the window if I do have the window open when I'm in the room as well. So I do try and keep the room sort of shut away so that there's less probability of having moths getting into the yarns. If you've got any techniques that you use to prevent sort of moths getting into your yarn stash, let us know. I know that I could box everything up in plastic boxes to protect the stuff. I do have some yarn that's in plastic boxes in the other room, but I do like to have some on display because it's nice and it makes me feel happy when I see all the lovely squashy yarn. Right, now onto the what's occurring section. So just to remind you guys that I've got a pop-up shop at Venetia's Yarn Shop on August the 9th, 11 till 3 PM. Hopefully see you guys there. So the next Barbara's Day Out Crafty meetup is on Sunday, June the 22nd at the George Hotel in Swaffham. That's 1 till 4 PM. If you are going to come to that, if you just drop me a message, because I need to know rough numbers so that they know how much tea and coffee that they need to sort of prep for, because we've sort of booked a little room to have, but hopefully see you there. I have a whole list up until December now of the meetups for the rest of the year, once a month. They're either Saturdays or Sundays, and the dates are on my website, and I'll leave a link to that in the description bar down below. There's also weekly meetups in the Bull Pub in Helston, which me and Sam Rayner have organised. I've put links to Sam's website and her YouTube channel on my website, which I'll leave a link to in the description bar down below as well. And I also wanted to mention, last podcast, which was 2 weeks ago, I mentioned a couple of people that have won giveaways for the Lay Family Yarn mini set, which is this one, and also the subscriber giveaway for last month, which are these yarns. And I mentioned the people who won them on the video a couple of weeks ago, but they haven't got back to me yet. The person who's won the subscriber giveaway, I've actually emailed you, so make sure you check your emails if your name is Hasmin. And the person who's won the Lay Family Yarn mini set is called Julie. I did mention Julie's YouTube channel on the podcast a couple of weeks ago, so please check your emails and make sure you watched the giveaway part of the podcasts to check that if you've won. If nobody claims those 2 prizes in the podcast in 2 weeks, I'll give those away as well, and I will also be doing the June subscriber giveaway as well, so look out for those on the next podcast in 2 weeks. Next week I'll be doing either a crafty vlog or a tutorial video. I don't know yet. I'll see what the mood takes me on the day. Next section is the shop update section. Just wanted to mention again that EU postage is reinstated, so I ship internationally again, everywhere around the world. And I got some new yarns in the shop. Wow, I have dyed this set before. This is the Mixtape Minis Remix Volume 4, and I've dyed it up again, but I have dyed it on full skeins. So I have, these are the full skeins for that set, which I'm in love with at the moment. Lovely and bright for the summer. I've got 5 colourways. This top one is Trouble. Uh-oh, we're in trouble. Oh my, it's progressed to dancing as well as dodgy singing as well. We've got Just a Mirage. Do, 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 do. Oh dear. I want that man, I want that man. That one. We have Drop the Pilot, which is this gorgeous blue tonal. And then we've got Joyride on the Joyride by Roxette. So hopefully that didn't scare you away too much, and you can see the yarns that I've put together. So these 5 are made to go together, but you can buy them individually. I've only got them dyed up in Merino and Stellina 4-ply at the moment. Those are in the shop, as well as some mini sets in Merino and DK for these. And like I said, I'm going to do the Geddy tee with these as the contrast crocheted squares over the top. These are in Merino 4-ply and Merino DK at the moment. If you are interested in the dyed to order, drop a message in the description bar down below so I know sort of if people are interested in that or whether they'd just rather go for the standard bases. I've got another mini set in the shop which is a bit more muted, and this is inspired by the song Love Story by Taylor Swift. Thought I'd go for a newer song this time. And we've got each of the actual colours are named after different sort of lines in the song, and these colours are Flashbacks, See the Lights, Romeo, Save Me, Marry Me Juliet, and Baby Just Say Yes. I saved you from all the singing then, just the last line. So there we go, those are available as Merino or DK mini sets, and I've also put a pre-order on the same listing for 100-gram ones if you want to have like a set for one of the Stephen West shawls, because quite often there'll be 5 colours that they want to go together, and these are all tonals on this particular set, but I just thought that was a really nice blend of sort of pinky purples. So the yarn clubs for June, I haven't got the colours ready and swatched for you yet, but they will be available to pre-order from the 20th of June to the 13th of July. That's the July set, and they will be shipped on the 18th of July, so watch out for those on the next video podcast. So I've got some fabrics going in the shop as well. You can buy them per ½ metre, and this is a gorgeous Liberty mermaid colour in this gorgeous like minty bluey green. I've also got some of this gorgeous Michael Miller Bee and Strawberry fabric, which goes really nicely with this Liberty print Wiltshire Shadow, which picks out those lovely pinky reds. These are a set of lovely Henry Glass fabrics in the You Are My Sunshine range. I love these little bunny rabbits, really cute. And this is in the same range, so I paired those together so that I can make some project bags out of them. I haven't got them in the shop yet, but I've got the fabrics in if you're interested in those. So these are a set of fabrics from Clothworks, and they are this gorgeous wildlife print. Again, available as ½ metre sections. This one is a panel actually, which is really nice. So here's the top of the panel, the middle of the panel, and then there's the panels at the bottom as well. This would really make a nice quilt as well, a little mini quilt. But I was thinking of making some bags with these, really pretty. So I think that's all for today. Just over to Jensen for the last bit to show you his lovely turtle toy that he got as a present a few weeks ago. I did show it on a tutorial video, so I thought I'd show you him playing with it a few weeks on. Over to you, Jensen.
Red and blue. Okay. Yellow. Purple. Oh, where was the other purple?
You have to know where it is.
I have to know where it is, do I?
Rainbow.
Oh. Was it purple?
Purple and blue had turned purple.
Was it that one?
Yeah.
You turn it. Yay! So we match. Well done. Brilliant. Your go. Red. Rainbow. You can't look at more than one. That's cheating.
Where was the other rainbow?
Where was the rainbow? Have you got them both? Show Mummy. Yay! Well done. Put them over here. Right. My go?
Yeah.
Orange and black.
Black. My turn. Blue and blue.
Yay! That was lucky. Green and yellow.
Yellow and yellow.
Oh, wow. Well done.
And then yellows.
Green and red.
Red and orange.
Red and green.
Red and red.
Oh, well done.
So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I shall see you in the next video. If you watch right to the end, to let me know that you've enjoyed the whole podcast, pop a blue heart in the description bar down below, because we've got quite a lot of blues in the yarns this week. If you can't do emojis, just write blue heart. I know what you mean. So thank you so much for watching. See you next week. Bye.